Many thoughts have been coming to mind in terms of we traveling to space and exploring all the incredible things that are out there out of our specific planet, like going to the moon, to Mars, or maybe some of the moons that are around Jupiter. But little things are actually considered in terms of not only in the surrounding areas and how that impacts us as human beings, but most importantly, the specific systems that are at play in our human body that helps us to be able to defend or sense things around us to better prepare ourselves for sudden changes in the environment. And this here is where we talk about the immune system. And this particular article by NASA was being really emotional in a way, in the sense of a story of a guy, and this guy actually had an experience growing up in terms of not only being able to understand what it's like to undergo various allergies and how that allergic reaction to, I think, shellfish prompt him to understand more about how the immune system works and why are the treatments, or let's say interventions, that are out there might not be quite efficient in terms of the long term of overcoming such situations. And this particular article, which according to it is titled to be "We Are All Made of Cells," in terms of space and the immune system, I looked at this article initially before looking at the content and asking myself questions. Wait, we all know that already as science people here, in terms of specifically biologists, knowing that yes, the cell is the fundamental functional unit of life. And this here we talked about different types of cells on in your classes. Now in this particular case here, I was like, okay, now this question gives, like, this title gives some subtitle in terms of space and immune system, and I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. And looking at a couple of interesting questions that came up from this article, it brings that sense of the scientific method into play in terms of the following. Like, first of all, it says here that, hey, why is it my immune system doing this? How is it working? Why is it reacting so severely and so suddenly? And I mean, when we talk about things that we enjoy, like for example, I love cookies, and that has contained a lot of sugar in there, and I know that this is not really good for me on the long term, because there will be some point where the body will not be able to handle that threshold. But all those mechanisms, I know, is outside of the immune system. But coming back to the immune system, it also brings up other questions like interventions, in this case saying that why does the only treatment an injection of epinephrine have nothing to do with the immune system, when allergies appear to be an immune system problem. And so let this particular guy, his name in the according to this article is O'Malley. O'Malley, yes, I believe that's how it's pronounced. I apologize. Um, Prompted him to go through a couple of interesting internships, specifically looking at the space bioscience research branch at NASA. And it comes into play where this kind of experiences exposes students or people to, rethink a couple of career paths. And further down the article, it says that he actually switched programs in terms of undergrad, I believe, from computer science to biomedical engineering. And this is pretty cool to see how personal experiences can impact the environmental experience and one's desire to pursue things that really are of great passion to that person. And sometimes I did actually have that at the back of my mind, where initially I was at biomedical sciences doing my undergrad, and when I went through a couple of courses here and there, and also some professors, that kind of molded my understanding and realization that, hey, maybe that is not for me. I think chemistry is more my strength. I enjoy the chemistry side of it, how particles interact with each other and how different reactions can change things from where it was, what it was, to what the outcome will be. So it's pretty cool to have that experience grow, and at the same time, other branches of chemistry began to kick in terms of quantum chemistry, or let's say we have analytical chemistry, or we have material chemistry. So all those exposures is pretty beautiful for an academic when you're diving into the deep parts of various fields. And it's really nice to see how this journey from this fella is able to flow from just in our own body interacting with other specific parts in our environment, to now looking at the broader scheme of things, where we're looking at okay, what if you step out of space? How is your body going to react to radiation? That, for example, the International Space Station, how can we tweak a couple of systems in our environment for our body to not experience that huge shock that may cause the immune system to resist in a much more aggressive way. And I love this type of science in terms of research, and the question now is how is this going to be able to be tested? What are the different bioethics that has to come into play for this to be done in a safe way, and at the same time people can buy into whatever results that comes into play. Now, one interesting factor that this article brings forth is the idea of different gender, or let's say race, that is at play. Like now we're talking about we've had just a specific group of person. How about when we have like first woman going to the moon, or now we have the hopefully first black person to go into the moon, land on moon? How is that going to be in terms of the reaction or the differences in terms of the anatomical and the physiological makeup of those different groups of people? And so this is an incredible research and skill that will be considered according to this particular article here, with regards to making science and space travel more accessible to different groups of people. So pretty fascinating stuff in here. And another thing that struck my mind in this article is the different fields of study and how they will have to intertwine or collaborate much more effectively for we to have a better understanding of how our bodies, specifically humans, will be able to adapt to different conditions and environments. And so this is where we have a lot of interesting collaborations with, let's say, James Webb Telescope, and getting all these little data on different specific regions in space. Like for example, Mars, the air water composition, the surface accommodation, how gravity plays a role, and how our bodies may adapt to those particular conditions, and how we can replicate those conditions on Earth and test those to see how our body can adapt to that before we actually get there, and we're not shocked by a huge change in our body system over a sudden fluctuation in our environment. Even on Earth, we are having a lot of interesting results coming from climate change and also global warming, in terms of how our body systems from different regions around the world are trying adapting to those conditions, or maybe inhibiting various systems in our body or our human system. How is that reacting to such changes drastically in our own system on Earth, before going into the broader scale of things, like going to different planets or region out of space? Now, another thing that we need to consider is all this data that we're collecting in our own system. How can we put them together and collecting those huge amount of data from different walks of life and integrating it? How can we leverage the use of technology to best analyze these results? Like for example, the use of AI. AI is becoming a huge popular trend right now, and the new types of AI, how is that going to be leveraged in a positive way that best gives data relevant ones that will enable us to be able to advantageously move into and push the idea of humans getting into different regions around the world, not only in terms of just specific group of people, but a more diverse group of people in space exploration and moving into different worlds that are unknown in there. So, truly appreciate this particular article for all the incredible insights just from one story that is leading to many possible outcomes in terms of our immune system being such an incredible part of our body, but at the same time how this can be really a really big question mark in terms of when we are subjecting ourselves to different changes in our environment. Question I have for you in the comment section is, do you think our immune system is a limit entity, or does it have an unlimited amount of systems that can allow it to best adapt to strange conditions that we've not really expect at all from our own specific region, which is on Earth? Go down in the comment section and let me know your thought about this. The link to the article will be found in the description box, so please, I encourage you to check it out. All the same, truly appreciate it. See you all on the next one. Stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.